Now, as I promised, I'm going to do a performance test between the Honor Magic V3, the Vivo X Fold 5, and the Samsung Z Fold 7. Is the Elite chip really a big difference? So let's go ahead and look at these. I've got all three phones laid out here, and I'm going to go ahead and first make sure to close all the open apps so there's nothing open in the background. Let's close them all. There we go. Everything is closed. And now I'm going to open up an app that I use all the time. You probably heard me talk about it before. It's called PowerDirect. So let's go ahead and pull up the program here. It's there, PowerDirect, and I believe it's right there and right there. So we got PowerDirect, and we're going to go ahead and do a new project on each of them. We're going to choose the same video, and the same video, what it does is it will process this video first, I believe. Let's see. Can I do all three at the same time? Let's see if I can manage it. 1, 2, 3, go. Nope. Okay. Now, because I used this video in another test on the Z Fold, it automatically reformatted it to fit a smaller playback or smoothness, as you can see here, what this says. Now, these two are having to do that, and you see I went ahead and started them both at the same time. They both have the same chip, so they should be about the same. The only difference is the Vivo X Fold 5 has 16 gigs of RAM, where the Honor Magic V3 only has 12. But we'll see if that makes a difference because they have the same processor. And it looks like they are still just running neck and neck, so I don't think it's going to make a difference. But if you remember, I did the test on the Z Fold 7 against the S25 Ultra. And if you want to check that test out, I'll talk about it at the end of this video. So I'm just going to speed through this as it does its formatting. Now if we go back to these real quick, you can see something's happening. The Honor Magic V3 is actually sped up. It's going a little faster than the Vivo X Fold 5. I don't know quite why that would happen. The only thing I can think of is some throttling, but are they really getting that hot that they're throttling? Let's find out. So now the automatic feed just finished. This is 6% faster. That's quite a bit difference. I'm not quite sure why the automatic V3 finished before the Vivo, but that's another plus for the automatic V3. So they both finished at the same time. So let's real quick take a look at the temperature on both of these. I have an app here on both of them called Amper, and it will tell me a lot of things, and one of them is the temperature. It looks like actually the Vivo is actually running cooler than the Honor Magic V3, so I'm not quite sure why the V3 with its 12 gigabytes of RAM finished that process before the Vivo, but that's neither here nor there. And let's go ahead and close that app out on both of them and get back to the video here. Now they have a little bit of a disadvantage now because we did do some processing when converting that video that the Z Fold didn't have. So these might be a little hotter, but let's go ahead and check this real quick and see what the temperature is on the Z Fold. It's at 30. So it's the coolest of the three right now. So, it might have a little bit of advantage, but I think they're all really around the same ballpark, so it shouldn't matter. Hey, I want to take a quick second and tell you how much I appreciate you for tuning in the channel as we do a performance test on the Z Fold 7 versus the Vivo X Fold 5 and the Honor Magic V3. Do me a favor, if you get something out of this video, smash that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Let's get back to the video. So what we're going to do first is on all three of these, I'm going to go ahead and do a subtitle deal where we'll add the subtitles on all of them. And in doing so, it does take up a little bit of processor power to do this. And we'll see which one is faster. Now, I should be able to hit all three at the same time since these start bars are large. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, that was a clean start, and they're all going now. You would think that the Elite chip would be the fastest. We're going to find out as they go through this, and I may have to speed through it, but this is a short enough conversion, so maybe I'll just let it go. We'll find out here in just a moment. Now, I'm going to go ahead and speed through it because they are kind of going slow, but it looks like, I don't know, they're all pretty much running neck and neck. There's not a whole lot of speed difference between 80 of them. Whoop. The Z Fold 7 just all of a sudden sped up at the last moment and finished. So there's the Elite chip, and now the Honor Magic V3 finished with the Vivo X Fold 5 falling behind. Not quite sure why that is, folks. I figured they would have fine-tuned the chip a little better, and the fact that this has 16 gigabytes of RAM, I think it would have outperformed the automatic V3, but maybe there's just not as clean of a software integration as you might think on the Vivo. So it looks like they all got the subtitles in. No problem. We'll just do a quick check. It looks like they're all there. No problem. Now, what we're going to do is really going to do the processing test, because this is where it really puts a lot of heat on these things and really works them out, and that's exporting these videos. So we're going to export, and we're going to do 4K on each of them because this is a 4K video, so we're going to keep it that way. And I just want to make sure that they have the same exact setting. They are all at 30 frames per second. There we go. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. Now, let's go ahead and start all three. Hopefully, I can do a nice clean start again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, I got a clean start again. And if you noticed how the Z Fold kind of rocked on that start, well, that's because of those camera lenses. But here we go. We've got the Z Fold is really way moving out ahead at 14, 15%. These two are kind of running behind, but it looks like the Honor Magic is actually beating the Vivo X Fold 5. So here we go in processing power. This is the big test. And will one of these two throttle? It looks like the Vivo might be throttling a little bit because it's actually starting to slow down. So we'll go ahead and speed through this, and part way through, I think I'll say a word or two. Now we're hit 50% on the Z Fold 7. It seems like they all kind of slowed down a little bit, so they might all be throttling some. If you watch the comparison between the Z Fold and the S25 Ultra, you're going to see something pretty interesting as well. Now, if we look at this right now, the automatic is doing 10% faster than the Vivo at the moment. I don't know why. Maybe the Vivo needs some sort of update to help. Now we can see that the automatic V3 is over 10% faster at this moment. So there we go. The automatic, or the Z Fold 7 finished first, almost twice as fast as the Vivo X Fold 5. And now we have the automatic V3. It's come out quite ahead. It's actually 15% faster right now than the Vivo. It may end up finishing at 20% faster. We don't know. But for those people that say there's not a whole lot of difference between the Elite and the Gen 3 chips, not quite so. Not when you do heavy processing like games or video editing like you can see here. Now this video is just what, a 6-minute and 40-second clip, something like that. So it's not that long, but this has taken quite some time to render this thing out and export it. And I'm thinking that the Vivo is just doing a lot of thermaling, and there we are, over 20%. It's like 22% faster on the Honor Magic V3. This is putting the Vivo X Fold 5 in last place. So now I sped it up for you, but that was a grueling, I don't know, nearly a minute longer or more on the Vivo X Fold 5, getting that last 22%. Now, this just could be a simple optimization of the software. And like I've said in the past, I don't think the Vivo is as polished as these others. There are some things I really enjoy about the Vivo, like the multitasking. But as far as the software itself, apparently it's this not quite as optimized as these others. Now, of course, the Z Fold had that advantage of having the Elite chip, but between the three of these, the only one that had 16 gigabytes of RAM is the Vivo X Fold 5. So I would have thought that the RAM would be an advantage when it's doing all this processing in the background. But there you go. The Elite chip does make a difference, but apparently additional RAM does not. So that was a simple real world test. I could have done those benchmarks and all that stuff, stress tests, but this tells me more than anything that I could do as far as those tests go, because this is what I do on a regular basis when I make short format videos for my channel. So now it's time to hear from you. What do you think? Was this a fair test? Did you expect the Vivo to do better than that? I know I did. Did you think the Elite chip would take off as much as it did? And do you know why there wasn't a difference having more RAM? I'd like to hear from you guys down in the comments. And if you recommend any other tests, feel free to do so. Might just give that a try. If you want to see the same tests and more on the Z Fold 7 against the S25 Ultra, check out this video here. And don't miss out on any of my future content. And to make sure of that, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.